Hello and welcome to another edition of National Focus. I'm Pearl Fontaine. Thank you for joining us. Coming up, highlights of the 2013-2014 budget presentation to include details of a squatter regularization program, holistic education developments, and the expansion of Social Security coverage. Stay with us for details of these stories and others after the break.
Hey, I had a good time in town last week with a pretty girl, man.
Hey, carry me next time when you're going now.
When we get paid Friday, we gonna go.
Careful, you might catch AIDS.
AIDS? Them girl pretty. Them girl can't get AIDS,
I
man.
think it's only ugly women have AIDS. Anybody could get it. If you get sick, what you can tell your wife?
Hey, your wife, come in.
Hey, change the topic. Change the topic.
Your family depends on you. Don't take home AIDS.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
The facts as they are, brought to you every day. Only on GIS Channel 7.
Welcome back. Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has assured the nation's people that his government will continue looking after their best interest. At the recent sitting of the House of Parliament, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit stated that while no drastic improvements can be seen in the world's economy, moves are being made to realize that goal.
Every one of us in the Dominica has a relative or friend in the United States or in some part of the world who has lost his or her job and has been unable to find a job in the last several years because of the global economy, man. And President Obama has said publicly that he has tried all sorts of measures, poured in hundreds of billions of dollars into the US economy, and he has not seen the kind of results that they expected, man and speak. With all the billions Cyprus and Greece have received, we have not seen the level of improvements in the economy. With all the cuts that the British government has made, and the most recent one, £11 billion slashing of the budget, Madam Speaker, they have not been able to see the kind of recovery that they would expect.
The nation's leader wants Dominicans to know that his government will continue to consider the needs of the people. We have to work together to build Dominica, especially in these trying and difficult times, Madam Speaker. But rest assured, Dominica, that this government, this Labour Party, will do everything possible to continue to bring relief to you, the people of this country. Recognizing, though, that things are difficult everywhere. At the close of Parliament sessions, the Prime Minister addressed government ministers directly, strongly urging them to ensure timely implementation of the measures indicated in the 2013-2014 budget. When the 2013-2014 budget presentation was made in late July, the topic of squatters and land ownership was raised by Housing Minister Honorable Reginald Austrie. The Housing Minister in his presentation affirmed that it is in fact government's plan for every Dominican to own a piece of Dominica. This plan, he said, is called the Squatter Regularization Program.
This government have no difficulty whatsoever in empowering the poor people of this country to earn a piece of Dominica, to have a piece of land, Madam Speaker. And in fact, it's by a policy decision that this government has agreed to give squatters a piece of land that they have been occupying before 2006, to give them that land at $1 a square foot. And we did it in a number of communities, Madam Speaker. We don't want to disenfranchise anybody, Madam Speaker, but it has to be done properly, it has to be done legally, Madam Speaker, and it has to be done with a certain level of consultation. Because the caveat is that you have to be occupying that piece of land before 2006. Now, if you occupy it after that, then we can talk. Because I will also show you where we have reduced, Madam Speaker, the price of land. We have reduced the price of land in this country over the last 5 years for people who believe could make a case that they could not afford to pay for the land.
Honorable Austri went on to reveal data on the number of Dominicans who have so far benefited from this program.
If I go back to as early as 2009, where we regularized 65 persons, Madam Speaker, from Kenfield to Union Estate, Geneva, Chan, Stock Farms, Gotha, Tarish Pit, Bellevue, Jubic, Shimenef, Yanda, all across the country, Madam Speaker. In 2010, we regularized 106 squatters. In 2011, we did 76 squatters, Madam Speaker. In 2012, we did 9, and in 2013, we did 44. Over that period, Madam Speaker, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, over 5-year period, and we don't finish 2013 yet, we have regularized 300 persons, Madam Speaker, in this country to give them land at $1 square foot, Madam Speaker. So if I can give people from Bellevue and Grand Bay land at $1, where else in the country, Madam Speaker, we can regularize the squatters in this country, Madam Speaker? The government policy is to ensure that every Dominican owns a piece of land.
Also part of the program to provide better housing conditions across the island was the move to reduce the cost of lots for a number of persons who had trouble meeting their full cost of their allocated land.
Between 2009 and 2013, we have reduced, Madam Speaker, the price of land to 190 people, Madam Speaker. So that's 190 people whose land was sold to them at $7 before time, and $8 and $9 and $10, Madam Speaker. And that's serious difficulty in paying for those lands, Madam Speaker. And we took a decision to reduce those lands to $1 a square foot, Madam Speaker. $1 a square foot. These are not squatters. These are people who were allocated lands. And they couldn't pay for it, Madam Speaker. And they came to us, they made representation and reduced the lands for them, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, within that period, we have also been able, Madam Speaker, to make 264 lots, service lots available to the people of Dominica, Madam Speaker, so they could have an opportunity to earn a piece of land.
The Housing Minister also addressed provisions made for public offices to own their own homes.
The Government Housing Loans Board, over the last 5 years, have made $24,797,000 available for housing, Madam Speaker, to public officers in this country, Madam Speaker, at 5%. And a total of 180 families have benefited from that program, Madam Speaker. Persons who never believed that they would ever own a home in their life, Madam Speaker, now have 2- and 3-bedroom homes with their families, Madam Speaker. This is what consider building on the gains we have made.
Honorable Austri made particular mention of his government's settlement of outstanding land acquisitions, some dating back to the 70s. The Housing Minister believes that it is only fair that these debts are settled to make life easier for residents. All of this, Honorable Austri says, is only possible through the prudence of government in difficult financial times. The 2013-2014 budget reflects the allocation of some $28.1 million to the Ministry of Lands, Housing, Settlements and Water Resource Management. The summer vacation is almost over and school will soon reopen for students across the island. September is also the beginning of the school year for many Dominican students furthering their education abroad. Parents can rest assured that the government of Dominica is doing all that is possible to ensure smooth transition of students into new classrooms, new schools, and even new countries. This current administration is keen on creating the opportunity for a brighter future for Dominica's youth through its investment in their education. During the recent 2013-2014 budget address, Honorable Peter St. Jean, Minister for Education, reaffirmed that education at all levels remains top priority for the Labour Party administration.
The goal of the Ministry of Education is to contribute to the socio-economic advancement of our country through a quality education system that enables learners of all ages to reach their full potential. And so, Madam Speaker, bearing this in mind, while it is true, Madam Speaker, that we may be faced with certain limitations and shortcomings, this administration focuses attention on the development of our human resource capacity.
Honorable Sejean highlighted some of the practical ways government has placed emphasis on education from preschool to tertiary education. He noted subvention to preschools, the refurbishment of primary schools, the school feeding program, bus transportation, and the provision of textbooks and other school supplies to students. According to the Education Minister, the government of Dominica believes that education is the right of every Dominican child. However, he believes that the involvement of only the government will be insufficient to help students do their best. Honorable Sejean says that the quality of education depends on the quality of teachers.
Regardless of the institutional arrangement and the resources of an education system, its quality cannot be better than the quality of its teachers. Therefore, I can firmly state that there has been no administration in the history of Dominica which has invested more resources in the development of the human resource of this country than the Labour Party administration. In fact, Madam Speaker, I would venture to say that there has been no Prime Minister who has been so driven to ensure that the educational needs of this country is provided for. And so my ministry has continued to prioritize the expansion and strengthening of teacher education for all the education subsectors, including preschools or preschooling, schooling during the primary and secondary age, and, Madam Speaker, post-schooling.
Initiatives taken include a numeracy consultancy held for school principals and grade 2 teachers, as well as training in early screening and diagnosis, special education, and multi-grade teaching. At the secondary level, teachers have been trained to prepare students for the technical vocational training and the Caribbean vocational qualification. In light of this, 3 secondary schools have been identified to pilot CVQ programs this September. The Northeast Comprehensive School will pilot crop production, the Goodwill Secondary School will pilot garment construction, and the Dominica Grammar School will pilot food preparation. The aim of this initiative is to simulate industry conditions within the classroom, making students better prepared for the world of work. Honorable Sejean also called for the involvement of parents to ensure that their children do well.
And we recognize that in order for our children to do well at the early childhood stage, there has to be parental involvement. Gone are the days, Madam Speaker, when parents would just send their children to school, forget about them until the day that they enter the primary school. We believe that in order for our children to do well, that the parents must be involved in their education. And I commend the Honorable Minister for Community Development, Social Services, when she calls on parents to work with children and ensure that they remain in school.
So as students, parents, and teachers prepare for the beginning of the new school year in September, rest assured that, according to the Honorable Minister for Education, the system is well prepared to ensure the holistic development of the youth through the education system. In more news, plans are underway to expand the existing provisions of the Dominica Social Security as it relates to the voluntary coverage of insured persons. The expectation is that Dominicans overseas would have an extended period within which to express their interest in continuing to make their voluntary contributions to the fund. That will mean enhanced pension entitlements. According to Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, who is responsible for Social Security, this provision will help relieve the plight of nationals who would have worked overseas and on returning home do not have access to the Social Security system. The Prime Minister also stated that government is looking into an arrangement which allows for nationals of some CARICOM countries to enjoy increases in their pensions from the British system after retiring from work in the United Kingdom and returning home. He also stated, and I quote, "These measures are intended to augment other programs that the government of Dominica has already put in place for its nationals who will reside at home and will serve to further enhance the lives of those who have worked overseas and would have contributed to the nation's development through the remittances they would have sent during their working lives overseas." End of quote. GIS News will follow that story and bring you more in a subsequent newscast. And that's the English segment of the news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique a poussé et puis développement énergie en Dominique. Parole celle-là sortie du ministère énergie, honorable Ribbon Blackmore.
C'est seul parti à Dominique, et le seul gouvernement de Dominique qui a un template pour avancer Dominique. Reste les autres partis pas ça. Les autres partis ont un template pour parler sort et critiquer et pour détruire. Nous là pour avancer Dominique. Et bien nous n'avons pas, nous avons dit oui, il est bon pour bâtir chemin, oui, il est bon pour l'éducation, oui, il est bon pour mener l'hôpital, mais oui, il est bon aussi pour l'énergie qui paye moins en prix pour le monde Dominique. Et bien nous avons espoir, si nous n'avons pas espoir, nous avons bâti, pour le moment, un petit plan en Dieu formal, en dans des comptes, pour Dominique. Et bien nous avons espoir, nous avons fait ça. Nous avons coupé puis énergie pour Dominique en deux. Et bien ça qui ouvre la porte là pour développement, ça qui ouvre la porte là pour investissement, ça qui ouvre la porte là pour employer le monde. Et bien nous avons dit aussi, nous avons bâti un plus gros plan en temps pour vendre pour le gouvernement, nous faisons plein d'argent. Et bien quand nous montons le plan, plus gros plan venir, c'est moins nous qui payer pour l'énergie. Ça c'est un plan nous ni, ça c'est une vision nous ni. Et bien nous avons dit aussi, premièrement, tant là nous avons bâti, ou là nous avons tapé l'argent. Tout ça en bord là.
Alors nouvelle, travail qui a progressé bien formidable à Sichimé en Campbell. Un aspect projet ça là c'est un gros miroir qui a bâti pour protéger Chimé Salan. Contracteur Asi Chimel l'a fait par Wall qui projet yon 100 avec $80,000 salam qu'a expecté pour finir en 3 semaines. 5 moun community là qu'a tapé travail à ce projet salam qui commençait bonnet mois salam. Quand même si l'on m'a parlé honorable Ribbon Blackmore, projet salam bien nécessaire pour la vie moun community Campbell. Travail qu'a aussi pour place pour bâtir un dalle à ce Chimel salam. Alors, nouvel programme diabétique foot ministre santé, tapé assistance Horde Rotary Club Dominique. Organisation là fait donation équipement qui ministre là qui servi pour traiter monde qui a souffert et puis diabetes tout mon pays là. Présentation c'est équipement ça là prend place pendant une cérémonie en ministre en santé mercredi. Madame Helen Royer, c'est permanent secrétaire en ministre de santé.
Il y a un équipement qui a coûté plus que $5,000. Et puis ça, c'est équipement pour aider les jeunes et les gens qui ont diabète, taper complications diabète, quand ils ont différents limbes, le chaque fois ils ont été sans pied, sans couper les genoux. Et puis ces équipements ça vient dans bon temps parce que le ministère de la Santé nous a travaillé pour voir comment nous empêcher les gens taper limbes. Et puis ça c'est un bagage nous toujours voulu faire. Et puis nous savons qu'à présent, on pas de monde pas tellement vieux monde mais nous avons des jeunes moun tout qui tapé problème diabète. Yo commencé travailler puis nous et puis yo tenu patchet training la patchet gouvernement nurse docteur moun qui travaille kon warded yo train pour yo occuper pied puis après ça nous savons nous même à ministère santé ça nous fait training nous à les différents districts. So c'est équipement ça c'est mon nakeni pour yo même ça occuper pied yo et puis gêner on pas de problème. Yon c'est équipement là son bagay qui yo que ça servi pour voir si mon na sensitivité en pied yo puisque on pas de mon là yo ni diabète yo pas ka sentir so ça yo ça brûler bagay ça fait yo ça marcher que choy pitcher yo et puis yo pas ka sentir. So yo ni équipement comme ça yo ni équipement pour nettoyer et puis c'est spécial équipement qui nous pas aisé taper Dominique. Et puis nous comptons qui nous tape équipement ça là et puis nous qui fait bon use of équipement ça là.
Et puis finalement ministère agriculture honorable Matthew Walter bien satisfait et puis mission agriculture China en Dominique. Honorable Walter fait parole ça là pendant était chef en délégation gouvernement qui visitait l'occasion en 1 mile à Guantas. Honorable Walter dit gouvernement Dominique a travaillé et puis mission China a une manière pour transformer le secteur agricole en Dominique. Et le gouvernement Dominique bien plaisir pour relation entre Dominique et puis People's Republic of China. L'occasion ça là qui nous on teach culture et puis aussi pour trainement habitants faire engager en agriculture comme en business. Le gouvernement Dominique a remercié People's Republic of China pour faciliter ça. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour présent. Non, moi, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Find out how to manage your time effectively next in the tip of the day.
Do you have uncovered water storage drums around your home? Do you dispose of old tires, cans, and old containers capable of holding water anywhere in your environment? Are you being bitten by mosquitoes, particularly at dusk and early morning? Do you keep houseplants in water? Do you spend your hard-earned cash to control mosquitoes? Has your community experienced dengue fever outbreaks? If your answer is yes to at least 3 questions above, you are at risk to dengue fever. Join the fight against dengue fever. The responsibility for a dengue-free Dominica lies with you. So, get rid of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
We all have heard the saying, work smarter, not harder, but how many of us actually abide by this? Well, here are a few useful tips to help you on your quest to effective time management. Firstly, find out where you're wasting time and then create time management goals. Remember, the focus of time management is actually changing your behavior and not changing time. A good place to start is by eliminating your personal time wasters. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Fontaine. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.